Fucking the UVTV motherfucker. I'm at a kid spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga fulfill them and yeah. Today I'm gonna be talking about teaching these young hoes how to get back to the 2000s VIXEN level of attractiveness and stuff like that. Because a lot of people when it come to Gen Z, because I'm Gen Z, a lot of people when it come to Gen Z and stuff like that, they don't be understanding the nuance or the substance or the essence or the importance of certain things during, you know what I'm saying, back during those times and stuff like that. Even though we had social media back then and stuff like that. But considering that y'all put a lot of things based upon, you know what I'm saying, like the different programs and stuff like that, and the different things that basically have gotten capitalized on and gentrified and stuff like that. Not to say they wasn't doing that back. It's not to say they wasn't doing it back then, but on a percentage scale, it's gotten way higher. So it's a way higher percentage scale of like distractions and stuff like that. So based upon these different distractions and them diluting it and them gentrifying it and them making it more dark, because at one point it was more light. Look at that as it was more pure. Now it's gone to a state of being of like, it's gotten more unseen. It's gotten more uncertain about the future and stuff like that. At first it was like a clear representation. Oh yeah, this is what this is, and this is gonna be the more fresh, the most fresh or the most new or the most natural, organic way I had to go about something. And then now it's gotten to a point to where it's done, basically got put into a perspective to where it's more outdated. You know what I'm saying? That's like the perfect word I can use for that. It's like outdated and it's gotten played out. At first it was young. At first it was more new. At first it was more fresh. But we're not in the first early pocket no more. It's kind of like a, oh, they're getting older and older as age and stuff like that. And then now it's like out with the old in with a new type of concept and stuff like that. Even though we're still doing the same thing, but y'all have to fulfill different spaces and pockets that already got fulfilled, but do it in a new, refreshing type of way. So considering it's not in that stage no more, it's like Gen Z got to be a representation of what it looked like now, currently, compared to back in the day. Compared to back in the day when it comes to like millennials and like Gen X and stuff like that, they already did what they did, but now we have to make the new pockets of what that is and stuff like that. So it's the same way how y'all look at like the entertainment industry and how at one point, oh, okay, like Wendy Williams and stuff like that. Okay, we need a new type of Wendy Williams. Okay, look at like back in the day, like, oh, Denzel Washington. Okay, we need a new type of Denzel Washington or stuff like that. Oh, okay, we got niggas like Kanye. Okay, we need some new type of Kanye's and things of that nature. But like the Gen Z version. So every single pocket and stuff like that. So y'all be trying to utilize that when it comes to every facet, when it comes to business, religion, politics, and entertainment and education and things of that nature. So every little pocket, every little nuance based upon the different careers and the things going on in society and stuff like that. All y'all trying to basically fulfill those different things, but y'all get so caught up in the old way when it comes to like the industry and like the things they done created and how they set things up and stuff like that. Okay, we got Universal Music Group, we got Sony, we got Warner Bros and stuff like that. Okay, now we in a current shift where things are changing up. And now it's like a thing where it's like, okay, we need some new type of fruit, some new type of high-hanging fruit, some new type of thing that people are germinating their seeds into to make it so it can grow into that worldwide potentials and stuff like that, worldwide potential and stuff like that, to the point to where it can be like that esoteric garden and eat it and stuff like that. So we're trying to plant new seeds to make it so they can grow, and we can't rely on these old seeds or these old gardens or these old things that already got manifested and stuff like that. Like they already did it during the time when it was, you know what I'm saying, during the time when they were supposed to do those things. But now we're in a new pocket to where it's like, okay, now we gotta do that, but in a new way, but not rely on the old way of how they used to do it. So yeah, like I was saying before, oh, we had Universal Music Group, we have Sony, we have Warner Bros. Okay, we need a new pocket when it comes to these things. Now I'm just taking that and I'm taking that to that natural essence of how we used to look at video vixens in the 2000s and stuff like that, right? When it comes to a lot of these women. And then look, this goes with men and women, male and female. I'm not just talking about women. It's just women are like the driving example of the state of being in an energy signature they be in. So y'all get back to that pure essence of what that was to how it was when it comes to them and those music videos and why they were so attractive and why they were so alluring. And the fact y'all get so lost into the external world and the different examples they put on based upon social media and societal norms of what they want y'all to do now. The same way how like back in the day they used to be like, oh, you too fat for having a fat ass and stuff like that, even though they had songs like Baby Got Back and stuff like that, and then the transition to the 2000s and movies like Mean Girls and stuff like that, and then now that is the societal norm and stuff like that, even though in the urban community that's always been accepted. And then in the white European industry world and stuff like that, it started to get more capitalized on based upon American values, and then now they like, oh yeah, you have to do it like this now, and this is the new beauty standard or the beauty trend and stuff like that, even though based upon that standard it's someone who's trying to put out and create a standard when beauty is really in the eye of the beholder, and it goes beyond just the flesh. It goes based upon the mentality. So if you have a beautiful spirit, a beautiful creation, you know what I'm saying, that was way more pure and authentic and natural and organic and stuff like that, it's going to get shown. And that leads to a beautiful mentality, which leads to you being physically beautiful in the flesh. And then the external world is going to start to make different examples of what it means to actually be beautiful and stuff like that. It's just when it comes to a lot of different programs, when it comes to us being in America and stuff like that, they want it to be seen in a certain light. And they're going to try to diversify, well, not diversify, they're going to try to take away the spotlight unless it's some type of handler behind that or some type of control behind that, because they like having power control over how we see things instead of us creating our own way of how to look at it, which is why things are so in a drought and dry when it comes to creativity and stuff like that, and it's not as refreshing as it used to be and stuff like that, because y'all getting too lost into what already got created instead of trying to create some new way of how to go about it, but the most natural, organic type of way. And y'all got to get with some type of culture behind it, but I let you know there's not a lot of culture behind what they're doing, and they got lost into the culture with the industry and things of that nature want you to do based upon beauty standards and societal norms and yeah, like basically. But just in general, right, how to make it so y'all get back to this natural essence and stuff like that, right? This goes for male and female because it's based upon attractiveness. Now, attractiveness is based upon a female type of energy, right? Like a feminine type of energy. But we all have a masculine and feminine side. Look at masculine and feminine as men and women. Adam, Eve's, light, darkness, yin, yang. You know what I'm saying? Externalizing, internalizing. Thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. Thoughts, ideas would be like men. Feelings and emotions would be like women. And stuff like that. Men got a dick and balls and stuff like that, so they like to direct and get erect, and they like to drop their nuts about something. So it's based upon what they're trying to build and create. That's why niggas always be saying some shit like, oh yeah, we building right now and stuff like that. They're trying to create. So it's based upon awareness. So they're like walking frequencies, and then women be like walking vibrations. And from women being walking vibrations, they like to bring a vibe. But it's based upon they have a womb. So from it being a womb or a coochie or a pussy and stuff like that, they like to receive things, so they like to take that. So the same way how a nigga be like, oh yeah, take that, you know what I'm saying, like take that, you know what I'm saying, like some Diddy shit, like they take things in. So that's why all the way down like to natural organs and stuff like that, where oh the pussy or the twat like to take things in and stuff like that, or how niggas sit there and be like, oh yeah, I ain't no bitch, I ain't no pussy. So they don't like to take things in. They like to be in the perceiver perspective. So niggas like to perceive, and then women like to receive. But look at that as the masculine and feminine, just in general. So once you're externalizing something, right, that's more masculine. You're trying to expand it. They're trying to experience it. And then from them trying to experience and expand it, it's based upon what they're trying to create for themselves. And then women, since they are more feminine, they like to go based off of intuition or the imagination or the feelings and the emotions. They like to receive things. They like to be indirect. They like to be more covert and stuff like that. That's why niggas, just in general, right, they can be more into that ego, and then women, they have more of like that lack of an ego, but they could do a lot of the degenerate type of stuff based upon whatever they're trying to support based upon their ego and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a deep thing. It's a deep thing in itself. But just in general, right? Men would be like the father, and then woman would be like the mother. So look at the father as like the father sky, the atmosphere, the world, right? The atmosphere that we in, and then the motherland or the mother would be like how we take care of it. So the nurturing and the caring type of qualities and stuff like that. So based upon this natural template, it is at least what I'm talking about right now. Men will be like walking attention span based upon awareness and concentrated on something, and a woman would be walking attractiveness, and based upon that attractiveness, they like to draw people towards what they're paying attention to. So niggas, they just like to expand and want people to create. You know what I'm saying? They like to create and build and have something to be aware about and have something to pay attention to so they can expand it. And in women, they like to support whatever is being expanded, whatever people are trying to pay attention to and make it more attractive. So it's based upon the imagery or the feeling and emotion to make people be more reactive or enticed to go pay attention to it in the first place. You get it? So just in general, right? Like, niggas don't care about how something looks. You know what I'm saying? They just like to build and create and be aware about it. They don't really care how it looks. But women, that's their whole thing. They always gonna care about how they look in some way, shape, or form. So based upon that energy, it's gonna turn to the opposite end because they always want to understand the opposite of whatever they're actually doing. So niggas always want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just in general, right? That masculine energy, they always want to get attention for something based upon their awareness and concentrating on it. And then they want to understand the other energy. They want to understand the emotional intelligence. They want to understand their feminine side. They want to learn how to receive things better. So they always want to be needed. And then women, they already are like walking vibrations. They already feel the need to be needed for something and stuff like that. Or like be a part of something. Or naturally be attractive and attract other individuals. They want to learn how to not do that. They want to learn how to be wanted and sought after, and people pay attention to basically what they're doing. Because a nigga, if they really are secure in themselves and stuff like that, they don't even give a fuck if people pay attention to something or not. They're gonna keep on building and keep on creating regardless. And then women, they're actually gonna care about that, but on a percentage scale, they always feel like they have to be a part of something, and they always feel like they're always gonna be needed for something anyway. So it don't even matter if, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing that be getting them is if people are not paying attention to them. That's the thing they lack that mental strength for and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to receive things. So it's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing itself is like a mechanism, just in general. So walking frequency. So the attention, the attention and the thing you're concentrating on. And then the feminine version of that would be, oh, we're taking whatever we're paying attention to and making it attractive. So we're going to put it in a container and we're going to make it into a certain way of how to receive it. So we're not necessarily trying to expand it. We're trying to condense it. We're trying to close it in. We're trying to make people pay attention to this square. You know what I'm saying? This box. We want you to stay within this box. The masculine energy is, oh, trying to do something that's outside that box. And then women would be like, okay, we're going to put this in a box and it's only going to be secured and it's only going to be cared and nurtured for into this program and this way of feeling about it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's like, in general, that's like the natural quality of what that is. When it comes to the masculine and feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine, it's just these energies. So niggas will go based upon ego or being or having some type of expression, and don't take ego like a bad thing, like, oh, motherfuckers gonna be narcs and stuff like that. And then motherfuckers be trying to be like, oh yeah, we have to go through an ego death, when the whole thing itself is just a mechanism. Right? We're always going to have an ego, just in general. You just can't get too lost into your ego. Look at that as you flying too close to the sun. You get lost into your own light, and then too much light is going to make you be blinded based upon you being too consciously aware of everything that be going on and stuff like that. So that's why it's good to be in a ignorance is bliss type of state of being sometimes. But just in general, you can't get too lost into your own light, like, oh yeah, you God on earth, having a God complex, and then everything is going to be sourced through you, when other people can be a source, just like the sun. The sun is a source. The sun is a star and stuff like that. Okay, you can have your light to shine to be the star representation, to walk in the example, how to be like something, and then sometimes you have to know how to play into the background, not be the main one who's perceiving and seeing everything and expressing everything and trying to expand everything. Sometimes you got to be in the background. You got to be the receiver. You got to be on the short end of the sick and stuff like that. And don't even look at that as like bad. Look at that as like a mechanism. Sometimes you're going to be the, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be in the perspective of having the big dick energy, and then sometimes you need to be in that small dick energy. Just look at small dick energy as, oh, it being closed off. Oh, you being not as aware. Oh, you not being seen at the moment and stuff like that. Letting someone else get to shine. Or you have to listen instead of you talking, because you talking too goddamn much and you ain't listening or trying to receive some new type of light or information and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, because after a while you can get lost into your own light, and then that turns into darkness. So the whole thing in itself is just a mechanism. So we're taking things that are seen and we're making them unseen. And then once they become unseen, right, we're going to take those things that are unseen and making them seen again and stuff like that. So the whole thing itself is like a transition. It's like a mechanism and stuff like that. So look at that as something being light aka look at that as something being not as heavy. You know what I'm saying? The lighter shape and form, just like the mind. The mind is the first body, the light body, and then it's going to turn to the physical flesh, which is more condensed and it's more heavy. And your spirit is no shape and form, so that's the lightest dense, even though it's not no density at all and stuff like that. That's the whole point. So it's the potentiality of you creating something else and then you turning it into a shape and form, a mentality. So that's the first shape and form that you take, and then your second shape and form is the physical, the flesh, and then it's going to turn into things of the external world, and then eventually those going to die out, and then you have to create something else. So the birth, life, death, conclusion. So look at that, like spring, summer, fall, winter. The whole thing itself is just a mechanism. I'm gonna keep going in on that, and I have to say all this as a disclaimer so you understand the energy spectrum of where I'm coming from, where I'm coming from. Because I know motherfuckers gonna look at this like this a funny ass title and stuff like that, but there is some actual essence behind what the fuck I'm saying. So just in general, right? Based upon that, the men and women, Adams and Eves, the masculine and feminine, me breaking that down, right? The men would be like the father, sky, and then the woman would be like the motherland. So the niggas like to create and get attention for stuff, and then the woman or the feminine, they like to receive, nurture, and care for things and turn something into a shape and form to support whatever is being created. So they like to attract people of whatever people are paying attention to. That's why when it comes to that patriarchy type of argument and shit that feminists be saying for the most part, right? Like men be trying to rule the world because of this, that, and the third. All y'all doing is just proving my point right, because y'all gonna pay attention to the masculine or what the men is doing in general, and y'all gonna try to see the attractiveness in that, even if it's something negative. So you're gonna attract people to pay attention to, oh, we got red pill motherfuckers, oh, we got degenerate type of motherfuckers, oh, we got patriarch motherfuckers who be taking advantage of women because of this and a third. You're gonna attract people to what they're doing in general, right? And that's more of like a negative end. But if it's more in a positive type of end and stuff like that, if niggas are trying to cultivate something or try to create something, that feminine energy would be, oh, how can we attract people with the right imagery, with the right mental template, with the right sentiment, so it can look better. So it go back to what I was saying before and stuff like that. Niggas don't care about how it look, and then women, they always gonna care about how it look. But it's always gonna be that fine balance between the both and stuff like that. You need that masculine side and that feminine side. It's just that niggas and women, on a percentage scale from men being men, naturally born as that, they're going to be a little bit more on the percentage scale of doing the masculine energy, even though they always going to have that feminine side. It's just how we deal with the emotions and feelings. We recognize the emotions and feelings. It's just the way we deal with it is just not in a feminine type of way. We don't try to internalize it. We try to find a way to create and be more flexible and not get too stuck into a certain shape and form so we can create more. And then women, they like to receive and they like to soak into that emotion and feeling, and they struggle when it comes to that masculine energy, thinking outside the box to create more and not caring about how a motherfucker look or not caring about how people look at you and stuff like that, and you can be content with who you are as a person and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But we both need each other and stuff like that. Women be helping men when they go too far with something, and then men be helping women when it comes to getting too condensed or being too depressed and stuff like that when it comes to the things that already got created. You know what I'm saying? So men would be like walking, like the masculine energy would be like the creator type of energy, and then feminine energy would be like the things that come after the things that got created. So them being more into the creations of something that came after the fact, of something that already got capitalized on and gentrified, and how we gonna receive it and how we gonna support it and how we gonna go about it. And then the niggas will be in more the perspective of creating what the thing is itself. And then y'all can just use dichotomies to figure out if it's positive or negative, good and bad, and all that type of stuff. So based upon the masculine and feminine, right, it's gonna go into the shit of what the title is, young hoes. So when it comes to young hoes, right, and I know how y'all be looking at young hoes, oh, it's just some hoe who like to prostitute herself and stuff like that for money. She a sex worker and stuff like that. When y'all be having sex within the mind, that's why I put that whole disclaimer in the front. That whole disclaimer is we have sex within the mind. Look at that as like sexual intercourse. So you're taking two different energies to make another energy. You're taking a masculine thought and idea into a feminine emotion and feeling, and it has sexual intercourse, a baby, to where it could expand into a whole different energy based upon the masculine and feminine and things of that nature. So you can ground those type of things. So based upon your thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, we have sex within the mind first, and from us having sex within the mind is going to create something out of it. You know what I'm saying? They end up birthing a son or a daughter and things of that nature. The son would be, a son would be like a thought and idea, a star, awareness, a new representation of how something can be seen, and then the daughter would be like the emotion and feeling in the reflection of what already got seen. for the most part. So it's going to be based more upon, like I just said, soaking into the emotions and feelings and receiving something. And then the sun will be a new way of how to see something, a new way of how to direct it. And then the feminine energy would be how we going to go about supporting what's being directed. And that's really it. You know what I'm saying? So based upon young hoes and things of that nature, right? They act like prostitutes and stuff like that because you a youthful hoe. So you like to prostitute within the mind first. It's a state of being. So we all really hoes for real. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even trying to say it in a way because motherfuckers gonna twist my words and then motherfuckers will be like, oh, this motherfucker talking pseudo. When you actually do that mechanism in the mind first before it becomes the flesh and what we call in the external world when it comes to acting like a hoe or acting like a tramp or acting like a shrewish man or woman and shit like that. If I said that right, shrewish, whorish. But point being is, right, yeah, we all kind of like, we all have that whole capability. So we have sex within the mind first, and from us having sex within the mind first, right, we like to prostitute our mind. So our mind state be for sale. You know what I'm saying? But that's based upon what our spirits is doing. Our spirits like to emanate and they like to eat. They like to feed. They like to create shapes and forms. And that's based upon the mentality. So based upon that being the driving force first is going to get condensed into a mentality, which is going to get condensed into the physical and stuff like that. How you think you get motivated to do anything in this world and stuff like that? You got motivated based upon the motivation and the passion that you had within the mind that made you feel lively. They got your blood flowing and your fluids jumping and all that type shit to make you motivated enough to actually act something out in reality and stuff like that. So based upon the masculine, they like to externalize and act on things, and then the feminine, they like to internalize or react to things that already got acted on. You know what I'm saying? So perceiving, receiving, externalizing, internalizing, masculine, feminine, ego, expression, nurture and caring of the thing that already got expressed and already got turned into a way of seeing. So it's just the reflection, the reaction, the feeling and emotion of the thought and idea. So just in general, from us being young hoes within the mind first, we like to have that sentience and have these little baby spirits, these little baby thoughts, these little baby men and women. I mean, young men and women. So boys and girls and stuff like that. So we like to prostitute our mind states and stuff like that. That's why anybody have any sense, like, bro, we're not gonna act like motherfuckers don't be doing this in reality and stuff like that. Why you think motherfuckers be having a million videos talking about gossip and stuff like that? A million videos talking about, you know what I'm saying, like content creators. A million niggas be playing video games, doing streamers. They be saying they sentiment about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all be trying to show y'all mind. Y'all be trying to show y'all intellectual property and things of that nature based upon the masculine and feminine, men and women, thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. Y'all be saying y'all thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions about every goddamn thing and stuff like that. That's what content creators do. That's what politicians be doing and stuff like that. That's what religious motherfuckers be doing. That's what people in education they be doing based upon knowledge and wisdom and how to apply it the right way to learn from this different experiences and stuff like that. Why you think you got your own mind just in general? So everything is based upon existence in a state of being first and organically what you're trying to produce. And then motherfuckers be producing things of the mind to make what the flesh is so we can talk about it in the external world and then we can compare and contrast if that's a good thing in this society or not and stuff like that in different countries and different ways of how to go about the world and living life and stuff like that. So from you giving life to it is you giving life to your mentality and then that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's mad simple though. It's mad simple though. Y'all just be making shit complex. So, boom, that's a whole breakdown when it comes to young hoes and attractiveness. So, no one can get misconstrued in, like, I put down all the disclaimers, bro. I done put down the whole sentiment, the whole blueprint, made that shit simple, went deep about every single nick and credit. Now we can get into young hoes and how y'all can get back to that VIXEN energy and stuff like that. Now, VIXENs, right, are just female, they're the female or woman foxes. Now, this is just a state of being. I'm trying to make y'all understand how to be in this state of being so y'all can get back to that traditional method so y'all don't end up getting BBLs and getting Botox lips and shit like that and filling up y'all hip dips and all type of shit, whatever the fuck y'all be doing nowadays and stuff like that, based upon y'all getting lost into that synthetic world of what a beauty standard is and stuff like that, so you can be beautiful inside first and niggas are naturally gonna be attracted to you and then motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, you glowing, oh yeah, she bad, she fine as fuck, you know what I'm saying? And it's not no like, oh, you trying to fit into a wave or a trend of what's going on now, or what you going on, or what's going on now. it's going to be like a natural type of thing, and it's going to build your confidence up when it comes to all shapes and forms and facets and stuff like that of, oh, that look like something that's alluring, something that's attractive, something that's enticing, something that everyone want to be a part of, because you're showing something that we all trying to do. We all trying to be free spirits and spontaneous and express ourselves and stuff like that, and give life and give birth to new ways of how to go about something, all the way down to actually giving life in the flesh, like having a baby and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you just have to up your charisma level, your character, based upon the different characteristics, which is the thing I'm about to break down right now. So it's a spiritual nature thing first. So based upon what our spirit is doing, our spirit is no shape and form, and it's just our, and in our individual space is just our soul and stuff like that. So our individual way of how to subjectively be a part of existence, which is why you have your own mind, and then spirituality is just the actuality of all these different spaces, all these different points of references, and these purities that's in the world and stuff like that. So everyone in existence all together making God come down, and God would just be all possibilities, us all making it possible based upon our own subjective point of view, so we can make the objective of the spiritual mission of what we all trying to create together to add on to humanity, or whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just in general, right, a female / a woman fox, right? And like I was saying before, women have a womb, and a fox is a carnivore. A carnivore is an animal. An animal is just an animate being. So based upon our different animals, look at animals like characteristics and stuff like that, right? So like a pig is gluttonous. So from a big, from a pig being gluttonous, that's them overindulging into something. That's why y'all be calling cops pigs and stuff like that, because they be overindulging. They be overseeing shit. You know what I'm saying? They be trying to control society based upon, I'm not even trying to say like I hate cops or the police and stuff like that, or the FBI and things of that nature. It's a state of being thing first though. Y'all like to overindulge. Y'all like to overly watch what everyone is doing and stuff like that. You try to overly control shit. And things of that nature. Y'all trying to lay down law and order, even though this country just in general is based upon colonization and capitalization. But you're in a pig type of mentality. You're overindulging into other people's problems in business without having your own problems in business to worry about. So that's why they be calling y'all that and stuff like that. And that's why niggas be rejecting that type of energy, but not knowing why. Niggas be like, fuck 12, but there's an energy signature behind these numbers, behind these different animalistic or characteristics or mannerisms y'all be calling stuff. Mannerisms is just men and women and stuff like that. These masculine and feminine characteristics that y'all be playing out. So based upon a fox and stuff like that, right? That's why y'all be using shit like, oh, like Foxy Brown or some shit like that. So something that's foxy is something that's sexy or hot or new or fresh or erotic and charming and sensual. I'm gonna get there though. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but like, yeah. But like, yeah, like foxes are carnivores, which are just animals, and animals are like different characteristics and stuff like that, right? So the same way how we look at us being animals and mammals and stuff like that, right? Those are lower animalistic natures though, because we're clearly evolved from fucking foxes and gorillas and bears and stuff like that. We play out those characteristics, but considering we're more human, that means our intelligence is at a higher, you know what I'm saying? Like humans are just animals who are aware of their higher animalistic natures, aka being more civilized. We know how to be more civilized or be more intelligent than a bear, than a crocodile, than all these different things. But we can play out those different state of beings because we're like those things, but we're really not though. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like those things, but we're clearly at a broader attention span and a broader intelligence than these animals and stuff like that. A little bit more than they are and stuff like that, which is why we can turn those things into pets and make different zoos and stuff like that, but it's not the other way around. It's not to say they can't kill us and stuff like that, but we can domesticate them. We can make them more civilized. We can make them get out their lower animalistic nature so they don't be as wild and barbaric. We can make them more domesticated the same way how we have civilization, and then you have to be as a part of the society and you have to act more civil and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, foxes are carnivores, which is a type of animal that feeds primarily or exclusively on animal matter. So like I was saying before, our spirits like to feed. So our spirits like to make shapes and forms because it like to emanate. It likes to turn into a shape and form because it's not no shape and form, just in general. So it's based upon the space we in and what we're observing. The same way how when you meditate and stuff like that, okay, you're observing your thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and they can come in one ear out the other, and you can go based upon the first intent and pay attention and grab onto one of these things, right? And then you're going to attract more based upon what you're paying attention to. You can pay attention to this particular thought, this particular feeling and emotion, and fixate on it enough to where you start attracting those energies of that state of being, of what it's like to be in that thought, in that feeling. But just like life, those things can change. The same way how I used to think 5 years ago, I probably don't think like that now, because I changed how I look at what I'm thinking about and how I feel about it, and I apply different emotions based upon what I'm observing and the different experiences of what I learned and what I'm aware about. So we're always built on knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowledge, so that's infinite. We're always going to have a million different ways of how to look at something, a million different thoughts, a million different feelings, a million different emotions, and creating a whole bunch of different, like, you know what I'm saying, masculine and feminines and Adams and Eves and stuff like that. And then wisdom is based upon the wise men and women, the wise thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. So it's you learning from the knowledge, you learning from what you're aware about. You know what I'm saying? So you can apply it better, so you can be more to your true state of being, which is just your spirit. So you understanding your essence, you understanding what's essential in who you are in existence and your natural state of being, and how you can basically make that part of the world, and you don't get lost into a pocket, get lost into a transition and shit like that. Because a lot of motherfuckers be getting lost into transitions. They'll get lost into the external world, and then based upon the external world, they get lost into a delusion, and then niggas get lost into the body or the flesh. So based upon them pleasing their body and stuff like that, they get lost into that transition. And then some motherfuckers be lost into the mind, which leads to mental disorders and mental illness, because they be dying and they can't, because they don't even understand how their mind work. And then eventually this leads to you being spiritually evaporated and stuff like that. You lose the ability to be sentient and create things for yourself, because you get lost into all the other transitions, and you be delusioned out and stuff like that. You be out of your goddamn mind, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if you coming or going. You don't even know who the fuck you is. So it's like you paying attention to low-hanging fruit or things that are monetary gains, and you don't understand your high-hanging fruit, which is just you trying to create more. And how can you be more eternal and everlasting? And that's the only thing that's eternal and everlasting, your spirit, your ability to create something new, your ability to create something else, your ability to be in another state of being, and you don't get lost into a certain mind state, and you don't get lost into the flesh either, and you most definitely don't get lost into the external world and stuff like that, and the different representation of how it's supposed to go, and all that type stuff. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like motherfuckers who want to be gods and goddesses on earth, but God is just a deity in y'all mind, and y'all mind God is a deity. Y'all be getting lost into idol worship, and then get lost into being an icon and stuff like that, and you want to be worshipped just based upon you want to feel like God. You want to have the world working your particular way. When we make the world, motherfucker, that's just your world, and that's it. You acting like there ain't other sentient beings within the world to show you just something beyond just yourself and shit like that. You better calm your narcissistic ass down and go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers be getting lost into hell when you can make your own eternal heaven and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing that happened was y'all end up creating hell, in a sense. And don't get lost into hell and demonic shit. No, it's just you descended, and you got lost into how you fell, how you descended, and you always fell from grace, and you never got back to the graceful divine position and stuff like that. You never got back to the heavenly position. You never knew how to create something more and get out of that circumstance. You just stayed stuck to where you at. You got stuck into a pocket of time. You can't make more memories. You can't make more thoughts, more directions, more pockets you can fulfill and stuff like that from a natural state of being and stuff like that. You got lost into the creations of what other states of being created, and then you just get lost into that. You know what I'm saying? You just got lost into their intellectual property. You just got lost into their thought. You got lost in their nutsack type shit. But like I was saying before, right? They're carnivores, so they like to eat other animals. So they like to eat meat. So look at that as like animals and stuff like that. Look at that as like them, like they like to take on those characteristics and stuff like that. So like look at, I'm gonna make that make sense. Look at like how y'all be saying fish is brain food, so it helps that organ, but it's another animal that we eating, but it adds onto the actual physical organs, and it helps your mentality or state of being and stuff like that to have more awarenesses when you eat that food and stuff like that. So it's the same way when it comes to chickens and stuff like that, and the state of being they be in. When it comes to foxes, how I'm about to explain, alligators and stuff like that, you're basically eating the state of being they're in general, and you're taking it on that awareness, and then it adds into the intentions of why you eating it, and then who prepped it. Could have got that shit from McDonald's, and it was synthetic meat and shit like that, probably some human meat. You could have ate that at a restaurant, or you actually went outside, actually went to go fish it yourself, natural, organically, start to baste it and stuff like that, cook it over a fire and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's the intention behind why you eating it, and things of that nature, and how it's made and how it's prepped. But at the end of the day, it's us taking on these different animalistic natures and states of beings and stuff like that. So look at that as like different mentalities. It's just the specific ones based upon whatever animal that it was. So if you're a real carnivore type of person and stuff like that, you basically like to prey on things, right? So the same way how foxes, they like to eat other animals and stuff like that, right? They like to live on prey and being predators and stuff like that. Okay, we act like predators, not like some weirdo shit like you are killer or something like that. Like we like to act like spiritual predators, which is like the actual form of preying. We like to prey onto things. Like we like to attack things. So we have a better sword and shield and stuff like that. We have a better thing to attack something with and a better protection, a better shield, and things of that nature. It's something we're doing spiritually, which condenses into mentally, which can condense into certain actions of what we take into the physical to make it look like, oh, attacking and defending your character, or attacking somebody and trying to assassinate their character and stuff like that. You get in better abilities and stuff like that. So just in general, right, they like to prey on other animals because they're carnivores, and they like to prey on other animalistic natures and characteristics. So that's them being a carnivore. So the same thing when it comes to women and young hoes and stuff like that, and she's a foxy lady, she likes to attack different mentalities based upon their attractiveness and stuff like that. And then foxes, they're you know what I'm saying, they're like that reddish type of brown. So they're lively, passionate, and fiery about grounding and stabilizing things. Red would be like the passionate, fiery energy, and then brown would be like the grounding, stabilizing energy and stuff like that. So foxes, they're lively, passionate, and fiery about grounding and stabilizing things. So just in general, all of this is the state of being of what a vixen would act like, because vixens are just female foxes and stuff like that. So they like to feed off of men. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why y'all be making up shit like man eater and stuff like that. No, but like that's what y'all doing. Y'all are feeding off the men, the thoughts and ideas, the awareness, the walking frequency, how frequently they can do something, how they can create, and y'all feeding and playing on that. Y'all like to eat off of that mentality of what the men are doing to make them think otherwise, so they could attract and pay attention to your ass and stuff like that. Because when you got foxed by somebody, right, it leads to a clever or crafty person when they can outsmart, outwit, be deceitful, or throw you into a state of mental uncertainty, aka attracting people to what has already been created. So that feminine energy, like I just said, men will be like walking certainty, a direction of where to go. The fatherly type of energy, the father's light, the father's representation, trying to go the distance with something, and then woman would be supporting whatever that direction is and condensing it, turning it into a shape and form to make it something that's uncertain. You know what I'm saying? So look at that as, oh, men are like the overall good and then women are like the overall bad. But don't look at it like how I'm saying it. Like how y'all be looking at it like morality and stuff like that, good and bad, positive, negative and stuff like that. It's like a mechanism in general. You have to always take the good with the bad, the wins with the losses, the masculine and the feminine. You get it? You know what I'm saying? The thoughts, ideas, and the feelings and emotions. It's just when it comes to this state of being, from them acting in these characteristics of being a vixen, they like to prey on what the men are doing and paying attention to, so they could utilize that into some type of attractiveness, so they could be uncertain about the certainty or the direction they're trying to go, so they can think otherwise. So they're a man eater. You get it? They like to feed on what the men or the masculine, what's being externalized, and like to condense it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they can think otherwise, to think about something else based upon how attractive they are in the mind first, though, and then it turns into a sexually attractive, alluring, or seductive woman. They seduced you. They allured you. They attracted you based upon them having sex within the mind, sexual intercourse and stuff like that, to make you lively and enticed and allured into something else that's not masculine. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you emasculating yourself in a sense. I'm just trying to make it make sense. So from the vixens being walking goddesses, right, it's like an idol worship type of thing, right? Because y'all be looking at God like a deity. So something that's a deity is something that got deified. So it's based upon you worshiping something. So you going to war, you know what I'm saying? You going to war for whatever that adultery or that idol or that icon represents. You're willing to sacrifice yourself and go to war and turn your spaceship, the space that you in, you know what I'm saying? Like your spirit, and you're willing to go to war for that. So it's some type of idol worship. You look at them like a god or a goddess, a deity, something that you're willing to fight for, but you're getting lost into that mentality. Just look at like a god or goddess, like a god would be like a masculine mentality. A goddess would be like a feminine mentality. You're willing to fight for that woman. You're willing to fight for that feminine mentality. You're willing to fight for that darkness. Women would be like walking darkness, and then men would be like walking light. So light will be something that's more lighter in weight and not as heavy, and then darkness will be something that's the accumulation of light and is more heavier and condensed. You're willing to go hard about this condensed heavy mentality, this woman. You know what I'm saying? Why you think niggas be going so crazy, crashing out over relationships and women and stuff like that? Because they're trying to be needed. They're trying to understand emotions and feelings. And then women, they're trying to understand the thought and idea of how to not get so wrapped up into the emotions and feelings, so they can think about things more lightly, so they don't have that heaviness of the emotional baggage and lost into darkness. You get it? Like, so when it comes to these women, when it comes to these 2000s era vixens and stuff like that, right? And why I even came up with that wording to describe them, that's the early starting point of the state being they was in, because it was way more natural and organic, not no BBL shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was more natural and organic, which is why all the way down to Gen Z, why y'all keep cosplaying as vixens, because y'all want to be sexually attractive, alluring, and seductive. Y'all want to be sexy and stuff like that. Y'all want to be the female fox. Y'all want to be looked at as hot, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a fire sign and stuff like that. So hot, spicy, enticing, fiery, burning through reality and stuff like that. Another way of seeing and feeling. I ain't trying to make this about astrology and stuff like that, but it's just that element. Sexy, hot, new, refreshing. You're early to something. So it's based upon the purity of something, not it being gentrified. You purely being a sexually attractive and alluring female to make people attract to you, so people stop paying attention to what they really need to pay attention to and stuff like that. You're able to cloud their judgment and able to make them think about something else. You're able to redirect them. You was able to directly be indirect and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to making them get an erection, and then they stop going down that direction of some semen retention or like some shit to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna get all deep into that and stuff like that. But when a woman understands her femininity the best, her being sexually attractive and alluring within the mind first, and then it condenses into how y'all look at young hoes, how y'all look at Glorilla, how y'all look at Sexy Red, how y'all look at Megan Thee Stallion, them twerking, them being appealing when it comes to all those type of things, their content and their music and stuff like that. I'm just using that as an example. They actually be in a femininity, and they actually be in that vixen type of energy more than y'all. They actually be way more sexy and hot and seductive and charming and sexual than y'all, because they're sensitive to the senses and stuff like that. It just gets condensed into the physical. Oh, she's a real sensual type of person and stuff like that. Oh, she always trying to fucking hunch or something. When sometimes they don't even do that. If they actually at a certain level, it turns into like a you can look but you can't touch type of mentality. And then a lot of these people from the 2000s, they was in that type of energy. And then even if they was like a porn star or some shit like that, right? They understand this energy of what I'm talking about, because they're a bad bitch. A bad bitch is just a bitch that make you do bad things, because bitchcraft is just witchcraft. They was able to, because witchcraft is just a female sorceress trying to craft, or you know what I'm saying, trying to craft reality and stuff like that. And then I know y'all look at witchcraft like, oh, they're vexing or hexing and cursing somebody. Yeah, it's the same energy and stuff like that. You was able to be a source, a feminine source, an emotion and feeling of receiving. You was able to be a receiver and craft reality off of you being a female sorceress, a female source, a feminine source, to make people receive something a certain way, so they stop perceiving and expanding and thinking outside the box. You was able to contain that energy to make them think something else, to make them think otherwise. And then it turns into dichotomies of it being positive, negative, and good or bad, because it's based upon the attention of what you're using it for. So the minute you see a motherfucker acting like a vixen, they start being like, oh, she act like a I can't even say the fucking word, but they kept bringing that shit up a lot. Like a shrewish woman and stuff like that. They're ill-tempered, they're nagging, they're complaining. They're you know what I'm saying? Like, they act like a bad bitch. Oh, she be nagging, she be giving her power away, she be complaining about everything because of this, that, and the third. You're talking about like the the connotations of when it becomes negative and stuff like that. They like to cloud things. They get lost into their own darkness and stuff like that. Oh, they you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm a bad bitch. You couldn't afford me. You need to do this. You need to do that. I can't do that unless you pay me this or do that. Oh, I need a new pay pig because of this, that, and the third. Those are the ones who are more lost into the external world and lost into the flesh and stuff like that, and be thinking everything be about money and stuff like that, instead of it being about spiritual currency and things of that nature. They get lost into material success instead of looking at success as like the internal nature of success. What is that? You having a better result of something, and then that's it. So based upon that spiritual currency, that's you being rich and abundant in spirit, which is why y'all be saying shit like, oh yeah, I got money on my mind, money on my mind. It's a mentality thing, and it's based upon the state of being of where you at and stuff like that. Oh, people who have a lot of money and are rich, they're something of high value. They're, you know what I'm saying? Something of high value. There's something that are very abundant. There's something that's based upon spiritual currency. Oh, they're currently, you know what I'm saying? They're currently in a pocket of what's going on that's more pure and fresh and new. And they have to understand their pure state of being based upon them having a lot of mental clarity and things of that nature, which is really just spiritual clarity. They have a lot of clarity, and they know where they at. They know the state of being where they at. They understand who they are in existence. They understand their natural mechanism. They don't get lost into divination. They realize, oh, I could be a divine being and stuff like that. A heavenly being. Look at that as a celestial body. I could be a part of the heavens. The heavens is just the sky. And then the sky is just the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is just the sphere at most, the world at most. I can create my own world. I can create my own state of being. I can, you know what I'm saying? I can be abundant. I can be rich in spirit. I can create gold. I can make something that's valuable. I can make something that other people can be a part of. I can be on a high-ass frequency and stuff like that. And then I can create a vibe or a characteristic out of the frequency that I'm on and stuff like that. So the frequency is just what you're frequently doing, and you're able to stay on that train of thought and line of reasoning. You're able to stay on that path, and then you can attract other motherfuckers based upon the path that you on of what you're paying attention to. So the masculine and feminine, you having sex within the mind, you having the intellectual property, and you prostituting your mind of the mental sex that you're having. You know what I'm saying? That's like you having big ideas, big thoughts, big feelings, big emotions, and based upon that sexual appetite of it being big, you able to cultivate and do some big shit in reality. You was able to have a lot of different experiences and put yourself in a whole bunch of different spaces, and you was able to cultivate something within it. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? So like when y'all be throwing out that narrative when it comes to young hoes or hoes in general, and they just prostitutes and sex workers sex workers and stuff like that, right? You need to know, who are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who are you talking about? When y'all be like, oh, they're ill-tempered and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So look at that as like they're sickly tempered. They don't understand the temperament that they're in. So the minute they start being a high temperament, look at them as being really passionate. Like the positive end of being on a high temperament is them being intense or passionate or you know what I'm saying, like really creative or really enthusiastic and really spontaneous, really charming, really, you know what I'm saying? Like they have a lot of energy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then the negative of being in a high temperament, oh, they get really angry, they get really aggressive really easily and stuff like that. They complain a lot, they nag a lot and stuff like that. But that's them giving their power away. They don't understand their own energy when they start acting more ill-tempered, because if they're ill, they're sick. So it's something that's decaying and dying. So whatever temperament or characteristic or mannerism that you in, because you don't understand it, it dies off quickly and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So from it dying off quickly, it didn't live like a long lifespan and stuff like that. Which is, you know what I'm saying? That's like the state of being of like motherfuckers who be having miscarriages and stuff like that. To where it be like, man, I ain't gonna lie, that's a whole different video. But like y'all get what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like it died off too quickly. It was able to go that far. So that's like someone who ended up having a thought idea that was like low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? It was based upon something of the moment, and it was like a monetary gain, but it didn't last them a long time. It was good during that wave, during that trend, that year, or for that couple months, but it was able to create something else, so it didn't have a lot of life. You know what I'm saying? They didn't add a lot of thought idea, feeling, emotion behind it. They didn't add a lot of passion behind it. They didn't add a lot of essence behind it. They didn't add a lot of, you know what I'm saying, gas behind it to make it keep going further and stuff like that. So, just in general, that's just the overall state of being and that confidence that VIXENs had during the 2000s, and then y'all have to get back to that and stop being so synthetic and stop getting so lost into something that came after the fact and cosplay to be like something when you could just be yourself. So from you being yourself, you understand your natural state of being, and y'all can naturally create some new state of being of what it means to be a vixen and stuff like that. Instead of trying to be a 2000 vixen, you could be a 2020s, 2030 vixen and stuff like that, and then y'all could be the new representation of what it means to be like that, and then y'all can take y'all power back, and then y'all can make some new thing to be in the power and control of, to make that line and lineage of how to be charming and enticing and the new freshest, sexiest, hottest bitch on the block and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? All that type shit. Even though, like I've been saying, it applies to men and women, just in general. But it's like on a higher percentage scale for me bringing up young hoes. Women gonna get more enticed to watch the video and stuff like that. So just in general, that's how you gain that. Just in general, y'all have to understand y'all natural state of being of everything I just broke down and y'all charming skills. So just up your charisma, up your charm, up your seductiveness, up your femininity game, and get more crafty with it, get more witty with it, get more intelligent with it, for the most part. And based upon what other people are paying attention to, find different ways on how to attract people towards it, but do it in a way that's appealing though. Do it in a way that's relatable though. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too lost into some degenerate shit that's only monetary and stuff like that. And then that's it. That's really it.